Young heavyweight phenom Moses Itauma has been doing his thing as of late, and so much so that people have bestowed upon him the proclamation of him becoming the next best heavyweight superstar, right? In addition to that, we are greatly anticipating who he's going to fight next. You know, his performances have been terrific, his skills have been great, but his opposition has left a little bit on the table to be desired, right? His last opponent was Dillian White, an older Dillian White who was bruck up. And before that was the ex-NFL player in Mike Balogan. Who? And then you're telling me now that you're calling out Oleksandr Usyk, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world? I mean, come on, Itauma. Don't lie to me. Lie to your mama.
Hello guys, this is Rolly Romero.
Yo, my name is Nonito Donaire. What's up guys, Designer's Eyes.
We're here with Bob Santos Boxing.
And I rock with Dr. Boxing Talk.
I want to give a quick shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk.
And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Boxing Talk. Thank you for all the love, thank you for all the support.
You're rocking with Dr. Boxing Talk. Get your daily news from my man right here, the best in the business. Let's get it, baby.
All day, baby.
Amen.
Bam!
If I tell you I'm good, probably you'll say I'm boasting. But if I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? Welcome back to your favorite boxing news channel, Dr. Boxing Talk. And we are back for another YouTube video banger, man. Yes, sir. Yes, man. I don't know what time it is. The doctor's in the house, man. So check this out. But before we get to it, let's go ahead and smack that like button. Let's do it together. Appreciate you. That helps us to keep going and growing on this YouTube platform. So check this out. Moses Itauma, yeah, you know, the up and coming heavyweight sensational fighter out of England, you know, the British fighter. He's been doing his thing, you know, dispatching of opponents easily and swiftly, right? From Dempsey McKean to Mike Balogan to, as of late, most recently, Dillian White, right? He's been doing his thing. Nothing could be desired more of his performances. But his level of opposition at this point of his career, you know, like I say, he's just starting out, 13-0. We would think that he'll get a little bit of a step up in competition. I'm not saying that it's mandatory or it's obligatory for him to have a major step up, but if you're going to do what you just did, and you and your team and your coach Ben Davison just did, and calling out Oleksandr Usyk, a top 3 pound for pound fighter in the world right now, undisputed heavyweight champion, then I think that people should expect you to fight other guys that are considered contenders, like a Joseph Parker, like a Jit Caballel, like a Fabio Worley. You know, I'm not saying some of these guys like Fabio Worley and Joseph Parker are fighting each other, obviously, so they're not available. But if you're going to fight Usyk or call out Usyk and you want us to take you seriously, then you have to fight guys like a Bakoli or Jogba or somebody like that, somebody that's known to be, that we know can handle themselves as of right now, you know. And it just doesn't seem like he wants to do that, you know. And to add further fuel to the fire and the speculation of him really actually and wholeheartedly calling out Oleksandr Usyk, well, the IBF ordered a title eliminator between him and Frank Sanchez, and Moses Itauma turned it down. And that's okay, because Moses Itauma is ranked highly in other sanctioning bodies, even being #1 in the WBO and the WBA. So I get it, because the IBF has him ranked #5. But if they order a title eliminator, then don't be surprised if you declined it and the person that is considered the mandatory for the title, the undisputed title that Oleksandr Usyk has, is a guy that you claim you want to fight. Don't be surprised if that person from the IBF gets a title shot. And I don't want to hear anybody complain. And it's not just Moses Itauma that I'm coming for. Also, Zhilei Zhang, if you remembered, he was ordered to fight a title eliminator with the IBF against Martin Bakoli. And so was Jit Caballel. He also turned it down with Martin Bakoli. And then Hrgovic had some situations with the IBF as well that he went another route. And that's okay. But let's be clear. When we watch boxing, we got to pay attention. Don't think that some of these things don't follow a certain protocol or procedure. You know, I'm not saying that the IBF will enforce their next, because we know that Joseph Parker is also on track to get his title shot as well, which is why he's fighting Fabio Worley, because it didn't come into fruition because Usyk was hurt. But I just don't want people to complain about certain people not getting title shots, no matter how much they complain about that, when they obviously and purposefully went a whole nother direction to avoid certain challenges. Frank Sanchez, I think, would be a step up for Moses Itauma, but I think it'll be a good test as well. You see what I'm saying? Frank Sanchez is a good fighter. He just lost to Jit Caballel. Well, he had a couple fights. He had a fight to rebound since that loss. But as I'm saying is that he's not infallible and he's not unbeatable, right? But it would be a good test because Frank Sanchez could box. You know what I'm saying? So I thought this would have been a good fight. However, I will say this as well. Like I said, Moses Itauma being ranked #1, I understand him not going the IBF route. That's cool, you know. But the WBO, especially if Joseph Parker wins, right? He's the interim champion, so his shot at Usyk would be before you for the WBO, even though you're ranked number 1, right? And then the WBA, yeah, as you can see, they have 2 people ahead of him. They have Kubrat Pulev.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the fuck is that?
Who's a regular champion, and then you have Fabio Wardley, who's the interim champion. Like I said, now Fabio Wardley and Joseph Parker are fighting each other, but if Joseph Parker wins, he's still ahead of Usyk with the WBO, and then if Fabio Wardley loses, he'll still have Kubrat Pulev ahead of him for the WBA. So it just doesn't, it's just not given that you really wanted Usyk wholeheartedly, you know. And then not to mention that at the time you called out Usyk was already injured, right? You know, you remember the dance video that came into question with all this stuff, the legitimacy of his injury, right? But we already know he's injured, so he's not available, and you already had a date in December penciled in. So are you really legitimately, wholeheartedly, genuinely calling out Usyk, or are you just doing it for the headlines? You see what I'm saying? And I get it, but let's be real too. Like I said, don't lie to me. Go lie to somebody that will believe you. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, I just think that is a bunch of nonsense. I don't really think that he wants to fight Usyk, but I do think that, you know, his prospective opponents and Michael Hunter, I think that's a great fight. David Adeleye, we just saw him lose to Filip Hrgović. I wouldn't be too mad at that, but in no disrespect to David Adeleye, I like him, but this will be indicative of Moses Itauma not really trying to step up in competition as far as the quality of opponent, because Adeleye did just come off of a loss and he's not considered one of the top guys. Now Michael Hunter, who's a good boxer, who only has 1 loss, and that's to Usyk, and he has a victory over Bacoli in his history, right? That's a good matchup. But Adeleye would just look like you're trying to take advantage of somebody just coming off of an L.
Know your fucking place, trash.
So that's just my opinion on it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Do you think Moses Itauma should have taken the IBF route? Do you excuse him since he's ranked number 1 in the WBA and WBO? I kind of excuse him, but if you look at it, you know, like I said, it just seems disingenuous when you're saying you want Usyk next and your last opponent was an old bruck up Dillian White, and before that was a former NFL player, Mike Balogan. And then you know that in the WBA and the WBO, if you go those routes, even though you're ranked number 1, you're not next in line for a shot at Usyk. You're number 2 at best, because they have interim champions, and in the WBA's case, they have an interim and a regular champion. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. Don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. You know, we bring you the daily boxing news, baby. You know what I'm saying? All over the place, all over the world. We gonna bring it to you because we love boxing. I appreciate y'all. Peace. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.